Good morning, viewers. Welcome back to my channel, Alex Does. My name is Alex. Here's going this morning. What a beautiful morning in the bush, eh? Bloody lovely for a winter's day. Bang on temperature. Last night did not get cold. Well, it got a little bit chilly, but in front of the fire it was just perfect. Once I hit the sack, I was nice and warm all night. Yeah, had a bit of a reasonably good sleep, bit of an on and off sleep, but had plenty of it and struggled to get out of bed again this morning. That theme of sleeping in on me days off seems to be continuing, and why the hell not, eh? I think I actually went to bed right on 9 p.m. last night and I struggled to get out of bed at 9 o'clock this morning. Alright, so what's on the agenda today? So I'm just having me coffee. I'm going to have some breakfast this morning. I thought I'd spoil myself for breakfast this morning too, rather than having the ordinary bacon and eggs. I've got something a little bit special. I've got a couple of things here. I've still got eggs, a couple of things left over from the pizza, which you would have saw last week, which was such a success, that pizza. I'll be doing that again, but I've got a little bit of onion there and some shit ackee mushrooms. But yeah, I thought I'd spoil myself. So rather than getting bacon, I've gone and got myself some black pudding. Now I know it's rather a polarizing ingredient. You either love it or you hate it, and it seems that very few people seem to love it, but I absolutely love it. It's awesome. If you've never tried it, give it a go. It's delicious. I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. It's amazing. I'm pretty sure it's even suitable for vegetarians and vegans. I don't think there's actually any meat in there. It's just cow's blood, but no meat. So you're not eating meat, you're just eating the blood. So yeah, delicious. I absolutely love it. Haven't had it for ages, so I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm going to get that going in a minute. I'm just waiting for the coals to die down on the fire, and then after that I'm just going to do some work on the fireplace again today. Pretty pumped up having the mantelpiece in place, and it's looking really good. I had a fairly decent fire going for quite a few hours last night, and it got warm, but certainly never that warm that you couldn't hold your hand on it, and I don't think it would catch on fire. Certainly not during winter while the humidity is high. Summer might be a different issue, but then really you're not often going to have a long lasting big fire during summer. You're just going to have a fire for cooking, and that's about it. So anyway, so I want to see some rocks on top of that now, and I really want to do a complete circle at least, so we can start building up, and I want to see those rocks starting to come up from the inside wall of the shelter. So that's on the agenda for today. So I'm going to have me coffee. You'll see me cook and eat some brekkie, and then I'll probably do maybe 1 or 2 trips to go and get some more rock, and we'll mix up some muds and chuck some of that stuff on the fireplace. Welcome back. Here we go, look at that. How good does that look? Yum. Yeah, black pudding, if you haven't tried it, it's delicious. Such nice flavour. This one's quite mild. They do vary from brand to brand. This one's got quite a lot of oats in it, but yeah, it's delicious and really good for you. Quite lean, a lot of iron, as you'd expect, being mostly blood. Get into it. breakfast of champions. Oh, well, breakfast was unsurprisingly spectacular. Thoroughly love black pudding. It's been a while since I've had it. Although that one was quite mild in flavour. Australian made. A lot of the ones I've had in the past I thought were pig blood rather than cow's blood, but there you go, get into it. Just before I head off and get a load of stone, I'll give you an update on the cordage. So I'm assuming you can see me in here. I'll try and brighten it up if I can. So there we go, that's where we're at now. I've measured it this morning, we're at about 6.5 meters. Insanely strong. The batch of grass leaves, which I've been informed by viewer Tim is called Lamandra hystrix. Yeah, so the bundle of is leaves the proper term when it's grass leaves, had been sitting here since I collected them when I was here last time, so they'd kind of dried out a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, and that seemed to be a little bit better. I also sometimes, I didn't split them this time, so you can see here, you might not, let's get you out in the sun actually, we'll talk about this properly, hang on. Right, we'll focus on this. Mind you, when I'm making this, I'm doing it in the dark. So if you have a look where I started off initially, how thin that is, where I'd split the grass down the center, but it was still doing, you know, most of the time 2 at a time. But then from last night's stuff, it starts to get a bit thicker. See from there, you can see how thick that is now. That's a lot thicker, and so obviously it's going to have a lot more strength. I'd love to test maybe just the test strength of it. So it's quite a thick section there. So sometimes I was using, you know, 2 or 3 leaves overlapping at a time, just because they're different lengths. And so yeah, that's quite strong. So there's no stretch in it. I'm really confident that once I've made enough, if I'm going to use this for the netting to make the beds, that it's going to be strong enough. That'd have to have a breaking strain of at least 10 kilos, 20 kilos at least. I'm just guessing. I don't want to pull it too hard. I'm pulling it fairly hard actually. That's got to be at least 10 kilos force. So anyway, I'm pretty pleased with the progress, and when I'm finished I just tie a knot in the end so it doesn't unravel at all. And then when I start again next time I'm here, I just cut it off at the knot. I could probably untie this one. I could untie it. There we go. I can untie it and just continue. So I'll keep making it. So as I said, there's about 6.5 meters there. Oh, who knows how? I could probably sit down with a piece of paper and calculate roughly. Maybe I'll do that when I go home. I would be guessing I'll need at least 100 meters for a bed. It'll be up there somewhere. But anyway, I'm pretty pleased with that. That's that really only represents about maybe 3 hours work. Mind you, last night I cut my fingers to shreds because it does have a slight serration on it. So if you do run your finger along the edge, it will slice into you. So you got to be a bit careful with the stuff. Anyway, I'll grab my backpack. I'm not going to show you. I did find a small area they hadn't been to before. They had some nice rocks in it that were flat and a good thickness. So I'm going to go back there, see if I can get some more. And interestingly, last time I was down there, something I did see down at the creek. Maybe I should take you. Yeah, maybe I will take you. If it's just in case it's still there. Well, I'm not going to promise to take you, so if you don't see the creek in a minute, it's disappeared, but I'll show you something I found there yesterday. I'm just going to put this back. Alright, I'm just down at the creek. You can see here. Down at the creek, this is where I normally get my water from. and I'm just heading up this way to get some rocks. You can see the creek, as you would be familiar with as if you're a regular viewer, and this is the spot here where I normally cross. So I'm crossing here, and I'm crossing here, so I really hope this shows up on camera. And again, this is not my area of expertise, but I think, okay, I hope this shows up on camera. Let me get something to point this out. What I'm seeing, there's a stick. That there is a footprint, and there's another one here, just 2 toes, and I think that might be a partial one here, and possibly a partial one here, and maybe, I think that might be one there as well. I actually think definitely that one's clear as day, that one, but it's only small, that one, whereas this one here, that one's a lot bigger. So I'm guessing, and that could be part of one there, maybe. I'm guessing, so that's definitely one there, and there maybe. Now they look very much to me, and I'm no expert in this area, they look to me like deer. I have seen one deer some distance from here on the drive in. I've certainly read online that they're in the area. I did one time hear I heard some animal calls one time, and I got it on camera, but when I played it back, it kind of was just muffled out with the bird sounds at the time, and it spun me out. I had no idea what it was. Like, my mind was going to the cryptozoological sort of area, and some months later, actually not that long ago, I was watching a survival TV show, and heard exactly the same call, and it was deer. So it's kind of like a strange dog sort of noise, and there were 2 of them, and I was hearing those from camp. So I'm thinking maybe with the logging activity, which as far as I know is in that direction, they might be pushing the deer in this direction. I certainly haven't seen any deer here. I haven't seen any I haven't seen any deer scat or anything like that. So yeah, I don't think the deer numbers in this area are massive, but they're definitely here, and this is a really difficult area to hunt in. I know people do hunt here, but from what I understand, just the terrain, it's so steep and rocky and all that sort of stuff, so I don't know that a lot of people do hunt here. But hunting is something that kind of interests me. I did recently have a dabble a couple of times at some indoor archery, and I really enjoyed that. And from what the instructors were saying, I have somewhat of a natural aptitude for it. But I like the idea of bow hunting. I'm not sure if that's something that interests you guys. At the moment, I don't have the time to invest in it. But for future projects, maybe once the shelter's done, I like the idea of maybe making my own bow, but who knows. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to take on a new hobby. Hunting, I've always thought of as one of those things that you really need to be introduced to it by someone who already does it. That said, the path that I would probably take would be to, you've got to go through your accreditation and your licensing process, and part of that is actually joining a club, and there is a really good club near me that I can join that has an outdoor archery field that you have access to 24/7, where you can go and practice, because bow hunting is something you do need to practice quite regularly to be proficient at it. So yeah, it does interest me, the whole idea of going out and hunting down your own food and all that sort of stuff. The other issue though, of course, is while I'm living technically on the street, I don't have the facility to store meat. My freezer at the moment is about the size of a shoebox. So that's another issue altogether. So you never know. Share these videos, get lots of people to subscribe, and maybe at some point YouTube videos will enable me to get myself off the streets and into a property somewhere. That'd be cool. Alright, so I'm now going to head up here somewhere and see if I can find the spot I was at yesterday that had a good source of rocks. I'll fill my backpack once or twice, and then we'll start making some additions to the fireplace. Let's go. You know, I reckon you got to be doing something right in life when something as simple as a rock gets you all excited. Now, I just went and did my second load, filled up my backpack. After it was full, I found this beauty. So I carried this back just in my hands while I had a full backpack. But check that out. It's a big bugger, and the best thing, it's got a slope on it, but it's nice, and for the most part it's nice and thick and flat. And I reckon with the way we're going, if we continue to taper up this way, and with the taper coming in on the walls, that piece is going to be absolutely ideal for a capstone to go across here, and then, as we discussed last week or the week before I think, and then have our smoke exit on the side here. So that's going to keep it all waterproof. Hopefully, if we have that about here. Yeah, I was rather pleased with myself getting that back. I thought, oh, I already had a backpack full. I didn't trust putting it in the backpack on its own, because often big flat ones break. Although that one's got a fair bit of meat to it. It must weigh, I don't know, 25 kilos or something. It's quite solid. But I thought, oh, I don't want to risk losing it or forgetting where it was. So I thought I'll carry it back a little bit of the way, just put it down, and then maybe each of the next couple of trips I'll just move it a bit further back and a bit further back. But oh, I implemented full beast mode and carried the bugger back in one go. So pretty pleased with that. I think I've got enough rocks. I've probably got enough rocks for one lap round. I might do one more load in the backpack just to be sure. But I'm certainly hitting a pocket of rocks over there where there's a lot where the rocks are kind of sort of very much like, you know, this sort of thing where flat on both sides and even, which are really good for construction, obviously. So yeah, I think I'll get another load. I'll dig some clay, and then we'll start some construction. Oh. Alright ladies and gents, well the time has come for me to head out of here once again. So I'm really pleased with the progress on the shelter this last 2 days, and I hope you are as well. I would have liked another course of rocks on the fireplace, of course, but I always want more than I should probably be doing anyway. And I think particularly with that mantelpiece still sitting on soft clay from yesterday or last week's video, I probably shouldn't really be putting any more than one course of rock on top of that anyway. It feels nice and solid. So yeah, I've continued the taper on the fireplace. Again, we're trying to get it up under the eaves with that side entrance. And yeah, real win on getting that big piece of rock that should hopefully be able to form a capstone across the top and provide us with some shelter or waterproofing for the chimney itself, so that we can have that side exit as we have discussed previously. Okay, so yeah, I'm just about ready to go. Appreciate you coming along. Other than that, the wins we had this week, yeah, the work on the cordage, I'm really happy with that. We're over the 6 metre mark. I did grab, just to show you, I have grabbed another bundle of grass, so this will sit here and dry out for when I come back next time, which I think is going to be not next week but the week after, I think. So that can sit there till then. It definitely seemed to make a difference having it dry out for a week before I weaved it into that cordage, so we'll continue that on the next visit. How good was last week's pizza, or last night's pizza, but last week? If you missed last week's episode, I cooked a killer pizza in the fireplace, and I will put the link up here. Pretty sure it's up there. Put the link up there to that video if you haven't already seen it. Yeah, that's enough faffing about for me. Thank you again for coming along and supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me, giving me this chunk of your valuable time to support the channel. I hope you really enjoy the content. I'm happy with that mantelpiece. That's such a win. It turns out there is just enough of a lip on there for me to sit my gold or platinum YouTube play button. So hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe, the bell for notification, and I'm sure that'll be in the mail in no time. Anyway, my name is Alex. This is Alex Does, and I will see you next Saturday at 8. Anyway, my name is Alex. This is Alex Does, and I will see you next Saturday at 8 AM. Be good. See you later. I thought it'd be interesting just to chuck everything in right from the get-go. A proper, full-on, simple, no-fuss curry, one-pot meal. Let's just throw it all in, sit it by the fire for the next few hours, and we'll just see what happens. And fingers crossed it turns out edible, eh?